Yo, what is up, Yugi fam? Hope everybody's having a great day today. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm showcasing ABCs for you. ABCs is, if you watch my last profile, I mentioned that ABCs actually holds a special place in my heart because it's one of the first competitive decks I picked up and I started playing for a while because I didn't start to attend locals until late 2016. So I picked ABCs a little late, like after their meta relevancy. But I just like fell in love with the whole mechanic of like the fusion tag out, or not the tag out, the contact fusion. And Buster Dragon was like my favorite boss monster. And he's still to this day like one of the most insane boss monsters in any deck because of how easy it is to summon him. Because that he's a disruption, very strong disruption, removal, and he tags out and spams the field. So that way you're able to OTK next turn, or like start breaking your opponent's board if they establish a board. But yeah, so this today I'm showcasing. It's not like a completely pure ABC list. It's actually ABC Brave. So by the title, you guys should already know that. I think Brave is such a strong engine in this deck, and I am playing a couple of other engines, and you'll see how well all of these engines work together, especially with ABCs. And I think this is the way. I think this is the way to play ABCs moving forward. It doesn't take away from ABCs at its core. It's the same deck, but it has these other really great engines that complement the deck very well. So enough uh, enough talking. Let's get right into the list. So here is the first weird, unusual thing. It's only 2A, and then we're playing 3B and 2C. So in my last list, it was 2C and then 3 and 3. But again, to make room and to not clog on too many pieces, I'm playing 2A. The reason I'm playing 3B and two of the other ones is that B, if you happen to just open it by itself, and you have another body, you can at least link summon and get a search. Where if you like open this and another extender, and you have like no piece, you need to have a piece in hand to be able to trigger this. You need to have a piece in grave to be able to trigger this. So B is the only one that by itself it does something. It gets your engine going, searches your other missing pieces. So I decided to go with 3B, and then 2A, 2C. I think this is fine because we have 3 hanger, 1 terraforming. We have the unauthorized react what the heck is it called again? The unauthorized reactivation. Yeah, that card. That card's insane too. So plenty of other ways to get into our missing pieces. So I think this is fine. Just 2A. Even if I was like in my other list, I was only playing 2C. I just don't like to max out on this card because A is a nice card to have in the grind game, because like if you have like an A, you can add back another A and just keep looping it, where C eventually like it might lose its gas. I mean, not to say that C won't come up like in the later games, it will, but I think A is the better card. But yeah, in this list I'm playing 2, 3, and 2. And then obviously we have the one driver. So I split the deck into like the core engines. That's why I'm going right into the hangers. So that way I showcase like the other engines separately from like every other card. So you have 3 hanger, 1 terraforming, and then 3 unauthorized reactivation. This card's awesome. This card is it has a lot of utility because if you don't need this card, you can use it to be able to protect your Buster from like getting hit with Droplet, Imperm, or even like if they try to Nibiru, you could chain this to equip your Buster with an Assault Cord, so that way it's unaffected by monster effects. It's just such a good card. I love this card. This card's awesome. And then obviously 3 hanger, 1 terraforming, self-explanatory. You want to see access to that card as much as possible because it is the best card in the deck. It really is. Like the hanger, 1 card Buster, it's the best card. Here's our Brave engine. We have obviously 3 Enchantress. We have the 1 Griffin, excuse me, we have 3 right, and then we have Fate, and then we have Draco back. I think this is pretty standard. Actually, here's the. Let me just throw this card in here because this is also the reason that I played Foolish, is so I could send Enchantress and get access to right a bit more consistently. Yeah, this engine's amazing. The reason that it's really strong in ABC is because it guarantees that you have a counter to nib, so that way when you do make your Buster, you don't have to fear getting nibbed. And any ABC player knows when you get hit with Nibiru on your Buster Dragon, it puts you so far behind. You basically like not even like top decking a Union Hanger after that is not even as powerful, because if you only play the one driver, which I don't recommend you play more than one copy of this card. This card's an insanely bad brick. Like the only time it's okay is when you draw this with this. That way you could still equip this from hand, but yeah, that's pretty much why like getting hit with nib is like insanely it's traumatic for for an ABC player. It really is, because you just again you just they take away your grind game, they take away your follow up, they take away your disruption. So this engine's insane because it protects your Buster from Nibiru, from anything else that might be threatening to your board. So it's awesome. And plus, Enchantress is insane because even if you draw multiple, you could use one as an extender, which is awesome. It has so much utility. Here's another really good engine. So I was deciding between this and Prosperity, and I decided to go with the Magician Souls engine. And the reason why is because when you open up Souls and your Brave engine, it's so free. You get the free draw too. But it's not just that. Illusion of Chaos is amazing because Illusion of Chaos will search souls, and then you can put Driver back in the deck. You can put this card back in the deck. So if you open up like this Hanger, but you still opened up like Driver, you can put Driver back, so that way you can still make your one card Buster. Plus, like it can put back anything that you need in the deck. Like you can put the Draco back in the deck. You could put Fate back in the deck. It's just amazing utility. So yeah, we're playing 2 and 2. I think that's a good ratio. DPE is amazing in this deck as well, because sometimes you'll have a board with Griffin, DPE, and Buster, with like potentially hand traps, and it's awesome. Like sometimes you can even end with like IP, DPE, Griffin, Buster, which is an insanely strong board, because like you have so much versatility with that board. You can answer so many things that your opponent might throw at you, especially when you go first. Like you can make Appaloosa, you can make Goddess of the Underworld, you can make like Unicorn with IP, and then with DPE you can pop, when you pop a card on each side of the field, you can like pop the equip spell, and then pop a card your opponent controls, and equip spell re-equips back to the token. Or when you make something with IP, you can pop that monster that you made with IP, but it won't be destroyed because it was made with IP. Actually, I need to double check one thing, because reading is important. Link monster. Can I just? Oh, never mind. IP protects from your opponent's card effects, not your card effects. So don't do that. It never came up for me, but that would have been terrible if it did, and I popped my own monster, thinking that IP protects my DPE from popping my own monster. But anyway, for the hand traps, we have 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 2 Droll. I know Nibiru has a really good interaction with like Buster, which again in my previous videos I've definitely touched up on that. But the reason that I'm playing Droll over Nib in this build is because I feel like Droll has a better matchup across a wide variety of decks. Whereas like Nibiru might be dead, say like because the Brave engine is very prevalent. Chances are if your opponent has a Griffin established, then your Nibiru will bait out the Griffin, sure, but you still won't get to nib your opponent. Or if your opponent's playing like any sort of invoked deck, and if they make Mechaba, they have the Mechaba to stop your Nibiru. Or if you're playing against Flunder, Nibiru is like trash against that deck. Whereas Droll hits everything. It hits everything in the format. It might not be as high impact as Nibiru in specific matchups, but it hits so much. Like any deck playing the Brave Engine, this hits because as soon as they search, you lock them from searching the equip spell, or not searching the equip spell, but like they can still place it on the field, but they can't add it to hand. They also can't get access to Griffin. If like you're playing like Prank Kids or anything like that, they can't like resolve Roxy's after you drolled them. And then like even against Sword Soul, like Emergence, Droll, Desires, Droll. There's just so many things. Flunder, this card's insane against Flunder. Even against like Phantom Knights. Phantom Knights, they have so many cards that search, like Boots, Cloak, and they play the Brave Engine as well, so you can stop that. I feel like, yeah, Droll is amazing. And then you could just side into Nibiru if you know Nibiru is going to be like a higher impact card than Droll. But yeah, I think Droll is probably the better main deck. And then we have 3 Droplet and then 1 Called By. Droplet, again, it just needed in this format because of the Scythe Lock. You need to have answers to that because you are playing an extra deck reliant deck, or a deck that relies on its extra deck very heavily. So speaking of the extra deck, starting off with the fusions, we have 3 Buster, obviously, and then the 1 DPE. You want to max this card out. In the grind game, you want to have access to Buster always. And then, Buster is Buster. Buster's insane. If you resolve Buster to, tag out during, like, the end phase, the banish effect, there's a very, very high chance that you're going to be winning that game because Buster is that crazy. For the Link monsters, for starting off with the Link ones, we have 1 Clara and Rishka. This card's awesome because when you do go second during your main phase 2, you can just link off like one of your pieces, trigger their effects. It does come up, not always, but it's nice when you draw like C and another piece. You can go C, main phase 2, summon, trigger C, summon a piece, make Verte, make something like a Phoenix, pitch another piece if you need to. Yeah, just really, really good. I like having it in the deck. We'll keep it right here. Link Spider. Link Spider's for the Nib token as well as your own Brave token. And then even if you're playing against Dinos, you could use their token as well to make Link Spider. We have Platinum Gadget. This is one of the reasons that Union Hanger is a 1-card Buster because Platinum summons your last missing piece from hand, so that way you can make Buster. IP, Verte, Phoenix, and then the last Link 2 we have is Cerberus. For the only Link 3 is Unicorn, and then for the Link 4 we have 2 Appaloosa and Access Code. These cards are pretty necessary in the deck because on your following turn, after you tagged out, it's so easy to just Link Climb into Phoenix, Unicorn, Access Code, pop your opponent's entire field, make Buster, and then Access and Buster are 8,300 damage right then and there. Appaloosa, when you IP, you can make Appaloosa on your opponent's turn. And you can make like a 4-negate Appaloosa, which is amazing. That can't be destroyed by card effects. And then for the only Link 5, we have his Goddess of the Underworld or Underworld Goddess. Card's amazing, especially when you have IP on field and you have all your pieces. You can use your opponent's monster. And then she's awesome because she negates, any cards that would special summon a monster from the grave. And then on summon, she negates every monster your opponent controls, and she's unaffected by everything unless it targets this card. So this card cannot be stopped by, say, like a Dragoon. It can't be stopped by Boral Savage. Unless the cards that your opponent is using, it has to target this card. So that's a very, very powerful line of text that Underworld Goddess has. So that is it for the extra deck and the main deck. Let's get into some combos. All right, guys. So for anybody that might be unaware of the Brave Engine, I mean, I know it's very, very common right now, but this is the way that you would. So this is why this engine is so strong with ABCs, because if you do draw Hanger with Enchantress or Terraforming or a piece and unauthorized reactivation with Enchantress, it allows you to make sure that your Buster does not get nibbed. So you're going to banish Enchantress and you will search for Right. Okay, and then we'll activate Right to summon a token. I need a token. Give me a sec. All right, we'll use this Water Energy as our token. This is I actually use this as a token for the Sword Soul deck. because it's all water. So I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, so token, and then on resolution of the effect, we place the Fate in the spell and trap zone, and now we'll activate Hanger. Activate Hanger right here, and then use the effect to search. We'll search ourselves a B. All right, and then we will normal summon. And what's really cool here is a really awesome interaction. Is that say like even if your opponent like has Ogre, you can chain block your Hanger, so that way you at least like have your Buster guaranteed. So you can go chain link 1 Hanger, chain link 2 Fate, to search for the equip spell. So that way, if they do have Ogre, they'll just Ogre Fate. If they had Ogre anyway, they would have definitely Ogred Fate, the search effect. So this is nice that you can just use Fate to chain block. So we'll add ourselves the Draco back, and then we'll equip the Union Driver. And then now we're just going to banish the Driver to equip a, doesn't matter if it's B, if it's A or C, because the gadget, it's going to summon the last piece anyway. So we'll go now. Before we continue, we want to make sure that we have Griffin on board before we get into our any more summoning, because we don't want to carelessly summon 5 times and forget about Nibiru. So we want to have that negate on board. Now we can use Fate's effect. We can add the Griffin, and we can pitch the Draco back, and then Draco back effect to equip once it gets sent to the grave. Now we can special the Griffin because we have our Brave token, and now we can special C, and now we can use we can link into our Platinum gadget, and then use the effect of B to search our missing piece, which in this case will be A. And now we'll use the effect of Platinum Gadget to special summon. And now we can just simply go into our Buster. Alright. And that will be the end of the combo. So basically what we have here is we have an Omni Negate. So we can negate spells, traps, and monster effects with Griffin. And we have the Buster, which is awesome. Plus, if these two stay on board, they provide us a lot more value, because during the opponent's turn, if they did leave any card on field, we can bounce it back. Plus, next turn, we can search for Enchantress, which gives us another token generator. So that way, after we link this into a Link Spider, for example, we can use the token generator again to go into another token. And then another cool thing is, if we negate next turn, we can just search the Griffin again, special summon it, and reestablish another negate. And then obviously we have the Buster. We'll tag out, you have 3 other cards in hand, by the way. So this combo would change. This combo does change if, say, you opened up another piece. So I'll show you guys that combo right now. All right, guys. So I just went back a little bit to this point in the game state. So say you did have another piece in your opening hand. What you can do here is instead of because you have the C, you can just summon this from hand when you go into a Link 2. So what you can do is actually you can go instead of going into your Platinum Gadget. I'm sorry, I'm like mumbling so much. Instead of going Platinum Gadget, you would go Verte here. And then you would be able to go Chainlink 1 C, and then Chainlink 2 B. Because you have another piece in hand, you can still trigger C's effect. So we'll just search the last missing piece and summon the A on resolution, because on resolution of the search, C will resolve to summon the A. And now what we can do is we can still go into our Buster, but now in addition to going into our Buster, now we can go DPE as well. So we'll first summon the Buster, and then we'll pay 2k, dump the Fusion as well as Celestial and Dasher, and then summon the DPE. So again, just by opening up any other piece, and this stays in hand, by the way, you just need a piece to be able to resolve C. So just keep that in mind. Uh, so now again, we have an additional disruption just by opening up another piece. Another thing you can do is make IP as well. So if your hand allowed for it, like if you opened up like Magician Souls, if you opened up Magician Souls as well, then you would be able to go IP in addition to all this. So you'd be able to go IP, DPE, Buster, and the Griffin. If you happen to open up like Magician Souls on top of like an extra piece. So yeah, I think that's pretty insane. I think it's a really strong deck because it's consistent and it has a lot going for it. All these engines complement the deck very, very well. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed the deck profile as well as the short combo tutorial here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you can, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would be much, much appreciated. And liking the video. I would love to hear your feedback as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.